What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel, and we are finally starting our franchise series on MLB The Show 22. This year, I decided that I wanted to return to Pittsburgh Pirates franchise within MLB The Show. And last year we did the Giants franchise, and that had some pretty good success. A lot of you guys kept up with that series in the long haul, and you guys really enjoyed that one. And I think that that was a good, refreshing break from just doing Pirates series year after year. So I think that I'm going to continue on that train probably next year, or after I'm done, doing videos for this franchise, we will move on to another team or something of that nature. But nonetheless, we're starting out with the Pittsburgh Pirates this year, who are in a very interesting state of rebuild. And the first thing that I want to go over in this video, the first thing that we have to go over in this video is the roster for this team. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that the roster for the game is a little bit weird. It does include most of the players that are within the Pirates farm system, but it's really weird from the aspect that they just don't have the caliber of overall and development that you would expect out of the Pirates farm system, considering how much they've traded away in order to get top-end prospects within this rebuilding phase. They have a lot of top-end prospects that have C and D potential in here and are rated significantly lower overall and significantly lower in development / potential than you would expect from the Pirates system. As you can see, the vast majority of players in their system have D potential, and we're going to go ahead and make a separate video discussing that as a topic of discussion for our review with the game as well. And that's something that we certainly have to take into account. And so we went ahead and we modified the roster for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is not going to be perfectly realistic here in our franchise, but it is going to be realistic enough to where it should be. So when we take a look at the roster, most of the players are going to have a minimum of C potential, C development, and the reason for that is because that is stating a base level of potential competency within the league. If you give a player C potential, you're saying that they're at least capable of potentially contributing at the MLB level at some point within their career, which is most players within the farm system. Unless you have a 30-year-old player in AA and you know that they're never going to contribute at the major league level, most of these players should have a minimum competency level to say that they're eventually at the best going to contribute at the MLB level, which would be a 70 plus overall. So you would think most of these players would have a minimum of C potential. If you give a 22-year-old player D potential, then you're essentially saying that that 22-year-old player has no hope of ever making the major leagues or contributing to the team in any significant way, which, yeah, I guess there are some players that you can write off like that, but if you can write them off like that, why are they even in the farm system for that team to begin with, especially a team like the Pirates, who have been building this farm system for quite a long time now to try to get themselves to a point of competitiveness within a couple of years from now. So nonetheless, we overhauled the roster, and I don't want to continue on that conversation too much, so I want to get into the roster and what we're looking at. What I did was I sort of sorted it by who's actually going to be up for the Pirates right here, right now in the major leagues, in real life, and then went from there looking at which players are their top prospects, which players are potentially MLB ready in the near future, and we edited overalls and potentials from there. So we started off with their starting pitching rotation. They have Zach Thompson. I didn't touch him. He's a 79 overall C potential player. I don't know a whole lot about him, but inevitably he's probably not going to be with the Pirates long term. JT Brubaker, who is their opening day pitcher, then Mitch Keller, who is a 74B. I think they rated him lower than like 10 other pitchers on the roster, and I know that he didn't have a great season last year, but nonetheless, he is still an MLB pitcher. And I know that not all MLB pitchers are as 70-something overall or 80-something overall, but he's competent enough that he should have a low to mid 70s grade. So we gave him 74B. That's one of the big changes here. And, you know, his velocity has upticked quite a bit. He has been hitting triple digits on the gun. So he's up to 74 B potential with very high velocity, and we'll see if he can rein it in with us as we build up our franchise. Jose Quintana, Bryce Wilson, and there's just not a lot here in the farm system for the Pirates to be that excited about outside of Roansy Contreras and Quinn Priester, who both supposedly have a 2022, maybe 2023 ETA. Contreras is definitely a 2022 player. Priester more likely a 2023 or beyond type of a player, but below that there's not too much. Tanaj Thomas is an interesting one that is a really high-end potential player in their farm system, but the game had rated really low and lower potential, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, so I did make sure that we adjusted at the very least Tanaj Thomas to give us at least one half-decent potential prospect in the lower end of our farm system. And then in terms of our bullpen, it's really just not a whole lot to be excited about. A bunch of older C potential, mid-60s to low 70s types of players. We're going to have to work on our bullpen. It's going to be a project for us. It's going to be an area of concern. There will be some players in here that you guys see that I signed out of free agency to fill the roster because the roster just was not filled properly. So like a guy like Brock Knight, who's a 59 overall 18-year-old player, potentially could do something for us in the future, but who knows. Closing pitcher wise, this is where I put the players that actually have potential for the Pirates. So David Bednar, 79 B potential. This is another guy that it will not be around long for the Pittsburgh Pirates, or at least I highly doubt it, simply because he's going to play too well and he's going to demand too much in trade value back for the Pirates. They'll have to go ahead and trade him and get prospects in return because they do have a tendency to build up bullpen pitchers that go and have success on other teams. Luis Oviedo is a high-end prospect for them, and then Yeri de los Santos is a kind of lower end, further on ETA type of a guy that has some development potential for them. But pitching-wise, things not looking too great. That is the struggle for the Pirates right now, and it will be the struggle for the Pirates, and it has been the struggle for the Pirates in every year that I can remember following anything about baseball. They always have high-end pitching prospects, but they struggle to develop them. So we'll see if we can change that around here with our franchise. Next, moving on to catcher, they have Henry Davis, who is going to be developed into the future catcher for the team, and that's pretty straightforward for us. Beyond that, there's not a whole lot to be excited about, but Roberto Perez is a nice fill-in player right now that'll be very good defensively, and that's kind of the story of this roster in this current season, is a very good defensive team that is hopefully going to aid their pitching staff in, taking a step forward. At first base, Yoshitomo Tsutsugo, sorry, very difficult name for me to pronounce, and Daniel Vogelbach are going to be platooning at first base. They both were significantly underrated, at least I think Tsutsugo was, and then Mason Martin also was significantly underrated. He is their future at first base from all sources and accounts, so I made him a 65B, and he does have an ETA of within the next couple of years, and he has a ton of power. He hits bombs down in the minor leagues. He should be the future at first base for this team, and that should work out nicely with the other players that they have gotten onto the team in recent years. Moving on to the rest of the infield, Michael Chavis at second base. I didn't touch him too much. Again, I don't know too much about him, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give him a little bit of time down in AAA because from what I'm hearing, Diego Castillo is potentially winning that second base job, and Hoy Park is going to be another player that is going to platoon for some time. A very good defensive player, just needs to get his bat working, kind of a typical Pirates thing, and this is where the meat of the prospects really are for the Pittsburgh Pirates, is in the middle infield. So Nick Gonzalez is here. He does have a 2022 ETA. I'm actually kind of surprised that he hasn't managed to work his way up to the MLB roster quite yet, but 69 overall B potential. He'll be ready very soon. Ji-Hwan Bai, A potential. They had him as a D potential prospect from an A potential prospect last year. He is one of the higher end prospects within the Pirates system. I think a lot of people are really excited about his potential, and I would like to develop him into a major staple for this franchise in the future. He can fill in at a lot of positions. He's very athletic, very good defensively, has a solid enough bat. So I'm excited about these prospects here at second base. At third base, Ke'Bryan Hayes is obviously what they're trying to build around. Now the question mark is, will he sign a long-term contract with them or not? It depends on what they're offering him. I'm going to try to re-sign him to a long-term contract, but behind him, there's nothing here all that exciting, just a bunch of low-end prospects. At shortstop, O'Neal Cruz, who I am starting out in the MLB. Now, that's not 100% realistic, but I don't think the game works quite the way they do in real life with MLB service time, so I still will have a lot of control over him contract-wise. They're going to bring him up to the MLB within a couple of weeks whenever they get the extra service time year out of him or something like that. I don't know exactly how that works, but they get an extra year of control if they keep him down in the minors for a little bit longer. So nonetheless, he'll start with us, but just keep in mind that in real life, he's not going to be up quite yet. Kevin Newman platooning, and then we have the exciting prospects down here of Liover Peguero, and I was surprised that the game gave Cole Tucker a B potential and only rated him as a 62. I may actually change this one to make him slightly higher overall, but nonetheless, I'm going to leave him down in the minors and let him develop for some time because of what we have available. And last but not least, we're going to move on to the outfield here, where we have guys like Ben Gamel and Jack Sawinski up in the major leagues right now, competing for outfield time. We have a major prospect in Matt Frazier, who they actually made him like a 73 with C potential, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because he's one of their top prospects in the system right now and has a very short ETA to the majors. So I took his overall down to a 69 and put his potential up to a B to kind of give a little bit of a trade-off there. So hopefully he will be able to help us out in the outfield in the near future. Very solid defensive player, has a decent amount of power. He's kind of well-rounded as a player, but we are going to be looking to transition to younger players in the outfield. In center field, we have Bryan Reynolds and Anthony Alford. Another player that I was surprised that they gave B potential is Anthony Alford. That one's really interesting to me. Travis Swaggerty, they had significantly low rated. I know that he's been somewhat disappointing in the minors system, but nonetheless, he still does have a very high ceiling, and he is expected to come up to the majors within the next couple of seasons. So, we went ahead and gave him B potential. We put him at the top of the list because he is the next potential guy to come up to the majors. What we do with Bryan Reynolds is yet to be determined. They are potentially trying to trade him. At the very least, there are teams out there that want him very badly for their playoff-ready teams. I think the Pirates are trying to get a deal done with him, and I think Bryan Reynolds wants to stay. So we will kind of see how that situation plays out, and then we go to right field where there's not a whole lot going on. Greg Allen is the MLB ready player at right field, and then we do have a couple of prospects out here. Connor Scott, the game already gave B potential to, and Bubba Chandler is actually a shortstop who I believe was a draft pick for the Pirates last year, if I'm not mistaken. He has a huge arm. He's actually a shortstop prospect, but if I'm committing to O'Neal Cruz at shortstop, and we have other players like Liover Peguero, Cole Tucker, and then we have guys like Nick Gonzalez and Ji-Won Bai, it just makes sense, in my personal opinion, for this guy to go to right field and take over at right field. I personally want this guy to take over at right field for us because that arm is disgusting. 86 arm as a 19-year-old player, 68 overall. I very much look forward to potentially getting some time with him, but nonetheless, that's the roster. I hope you guys are intrigued to see where this series is going to go. And with that being said, I am trying to keep these videos shorter this year. I am going to go ahead and player lock game 1 for us. We're going to actually player lock with Bryan Reynolds, the star of the franchise right now. All right, I got my hitting settings adjusted properly there. I want to be on timing this year just to make my life a little bit easier. I can just read pitches better in terms of location and focus more on the timing aspect of things rather than moving around the PCI to hit the ball. You guys can let me know how you feel about that, but I just felt like I kind of slacked with being able to talk and being able to actually play the game at the same time on camera. I feel like this will result in a better end product. I'm obviously not the greatest player of all time. I'm not a superstar at this game or anything like that. Oh, we we almost got that. I swung late on it. I thought it was coming too far inside. I probably should have nailed that one. 0-0, bottom of the first, though, with a good opportunity up to bat right now. We will get the walk, so I'll take that result. Bases are loaded, and we have 0 outs right now. So actually, interesting start to this game with the Pirates having a very significant chance to go up early. The Pirates have been doing pretty well in spring training so far in real life, so it is interesting to see how this is potentially playing out. I have a lot of the settings here set to auto or at least assist to try to help me out, because like I said, when I'm trying to master this skill of playing the game, you know, all this stuff at the same time, and that does get pretty complicated. You know, trying to talk, trying to commentate, trying to play the game all at the same time. There we go. That one's hit into the outfield. That'll drop. Let's go home. Nice throw. Safe. That was a close one. That was closer than I thought it was going to be, though. We're going to help out with the early 3-0 lead, scoring a run, drawing the walk to get on base to begin with. I'm honestly really surprised that the team has been able to manage a 3-0 lead up to this point. Now, this is where things get scary, because I have not tried outfielding too much to this point. Okay, that's not too bad. I would imagine if the balls hit really well, though, I might struggle with it. I'm lucky that they actually increased Bryan Reynolds' speed this year. So in prior years, he had like 75 speed. He's not a center fielder from my knowledge, you know, of what a center fielder really should be. I guess he's a Pirates center fielder. But nonetheless, he has 80 speed this year, which is going to help out if we do player lock with him. And it's another reason why I do kind of want to hang on to him, because he does have, you know, reasonable enough athleticism. We did get a hold of that one. That pitch is going to be down and away, though. No real chance for that one to drop in, unfortunately. Not timed quite well enough for us to really get a hold of that. 3-0 lead is maintained into the top of the 4th inning. That ball's going to come right to me. I need to throw this to where? I guess just a triangle. Yeah, just to second base. This is actually pretty new experience for me. I might make, now that I'm getting some experience with this in the outfield, this seems like it could be pretty fun. I may make a outfielder for my road to the show this year. So first ball is going to be in. There are 2 outs up, so we have to get a clutch hit here if we want to drive in another run. That will be tough to do. I swung, good timing on it. Again, popping up though. I was really hoping that I might be able to drive that one into a gap. It was a low pitch. I don't know, maybe you guys have some suggestions for me. It doesn't seem like it matters. Oh, this is pretty nice, this new fan cam right here. It doesn't seem like it matters what hitting settings I'm on, whether I'm on zone hitting or anything like this. It just seems like I fly out non-stop with pretty much everybody that I hit the ball with. Am I going to have to dive for that? No. Nobody on base. Okay, I thought I saw, it was our third baseman who was running in a little bit. I thought I saw somebody trying to go home. We are back up to bat in the bottom of the 8th. No outs, leading off. That's got to be a hit, right? Blooped in there. Okay, I'll take that. Good timing. That seemed like a pretty weak hit, didn't it? I mean, I don't have my headset on right now. I guess I could so that I could hear the sound of everything. And I guess I probably should, and I will for the next video put my headset on for it. But that seemed like a pretty weakly hit ball right there up over shortstop. And they're going to give us the win. So let's see on the stat sheet who came away with the potential save or the win. I'm assuming that looks like Brubaker right there, or was that Gamble? So Brubaker went 7 innings, no earned runs. That's a pretty good out for him. Did we get a save by anybody? Oh, yeah. Okay, so down there at the bottom, that David Bednar gets his first save of the season. We win opening day 3-0. Kind of a surprise, honestly. I was not expecting that type of a result, especially in this game. Though, like I said earlier, the Pirates are doing pretty well in spring training up until this point. I think they have somewhere around a 500 record, which, you know, you can't be too upset about that whenever they have a lot of prospects coming up and playing relatively well. So you know, I'm excited about that. Hopefully that gets you guys interested in some way for this franchise. If it does, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys tell your friends about this franchise and my channel. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a good one.